Hey there folks, welcome to Spectrum Pulse. We talk about music, movies, art, and culture. And now it's time for our mid-year review, the best albums and songs of 2016 thus far. There will be a lot of headlines that suggest that 2016 has not really been a good year for music, at least these past 6 months. And if you follow the mainstream between the losses of several music legends and a haphazard set of mainstream releases that slide between underwhelming and disappointing, that's easy to believe. Of course, that view is not really reflective of reality, because when you look away from the Billboard Hot 100, which I would advise you do because it's been a rough 6 months over there is quality. I think the big issue comes in that there has been fewer than normal outright smash hits and instant classics as there were in the mid-year of 2015, which really was front-loaded with some incredible albums. 2016 has been a little bit more scattershot, with a lot of great albums that don't quite rise to the level of immediate classics, and also a fair bit more diverse. Country and folk, for one, have had a great year across subgenres. Underground hip-hop has been pretty solid, and there's been some great R&B, metal, and rock music that I've liked a fair bit. And that's before you get to the genre-bending stuff that sticks the landing incredibly well. And I've argued we've seen a lot of that thus far this year. Now, what this means for me is that it's been excruciating trying to narrow this down to my usual 12. And at the top half, that was very straightforward, but the bottom half was so hard to cut. So while I almost chose to open things up to a top 15 albums of the mid-year, I figured might as well stick with tradition and keep it at 12, which means some painful cuts, some of which I think will surprise you. So without any further ado, let's start off with number 12, Blackstar by David Bowie.
I've got scars that can't be seen. I've got drama, can't be stolen. Everybody knows me now.
There are very few artists who can define how they go out, but David Bowie pulled it off. A cryptic record that can capture the ethereal chill of impending death, the unsettled fear of what might come next, and the melancholy of leaving it all behind with still so much left to do, paired with incredible production and fearlessly inventive experimentation and melody and composition. It's not an easy album to listen to, let me stress this, and every critic already under the sun has already praised this to high heavens, but let me make it abundantly clear, this album is so worth it. If you haven't heard it yet, definitely check it out. You won't regret it. Number 11, Teens of Denial by Car Seat Headrest.
To get home, drunk drivers, this is not a good thing. I don't mean to rationalize or try and explain it away. It's not okay, drunk drivers.
So I haven't entirely been on board with the emo revival that's been percolating around the edges of the indie scene. I've heard a fair bit of it, but more often than not, it's not taking the chances in writing or instrumentation to rise above its influences. And yet, while Car Seat Headrest probably doesn't fall all the way within emo, it arguably does more to push the sound and writing forward as Will Toledo explores depression in the modern teenage context and comes to no concrete answer in a way that exposes vulnerability and raw brilliance. Coupled with great pop songwriting and the ambition to go bigger and to tap into all manner of uncomfortable emotions, this album deserves the mountains of critical acclaim it's received. Again, check this out. It's fantastic. Number 10, The Impossible Kid by Aesop.
Psychiatry and troubleshooting undertow. Nervous in the service still. I'm burger meat and purple pills here. Thank you, but call your name. Sure you will. Skipped lunch. I'm shrunk.
Welcome back to the modern world, Aesop Rock. Easily one of the most accessible releases from Aesop Rock, this record peels into the path of recovery, both personal and artistic, in a way that you almost forget to notice how damn clever this record is. And when you factor in the greatest vocabulary in modern hip-hop and a selection of beats that might not be as layered as the writing but are no less punchy, plus the fact they managed to take that insane vocabulary and make impressively accessible music out of it, you easily have one of the best hip-hop standouts of this year from a veteran who can make it look easy. Fantastic work, Aesop Rock. Glad to have you back. And with that, let's take a look at 7 songs that are not featured on albums here on this list, but are definitely worth your time regardless. Starting off with, from Death of a Bachelor, Crazy Equals Genius by Panic at the Disco.
Just like Mike, love, but you'll never be Brian Wilson. And I said, hey, if crazy equals genius, hey, if crazy equals genius.
From Pawn Shop, It Ain't My Fault by Brothers Osborne.
Blame the dark on the devil, blame the devil on the dark. Blame the X for the drinking, blame the drinking for the X. Blame the 2 for 1 tequilas for whatever happens next. But it ain't my fault. No, it ain't my fault.
From Adore Life, Adore by Savages.
Sea of life in the distance, there is truth which cuts like a knife. Maybe I will die, maybe tomorrow, so I need to say.
From Anti, Desperado by
I
Rihanna.
know you won't, cause we share common interest. You need me, there ain't no leaving me behind. Never know, no, just one out of here, yeah. Once I'm gone, ain't no going back.
From All I Need, Feet Don't Fail Me Now by Foxes.
Oh no, it's gonna bring me down. So I gotta reach out. There's a way out. Pray your feet don't fail me now. You're all I got.
From The Driver, Leaving Nashville by Charles Kelly.
Handshakes and whiskey shots, boy. You're throwing up in parking lots all by yourself. But I ain't never leaving Nashville. I ain't never leaving Nashville.
And finally, from This Unruly Mess I've Made, St. Ides by Macklemore and Ryan Lewis.
Till it's 2 in the morning when the rain hits the windshield and everything is still. Nothing really is a big deal. One hand on the steering wheel and we gon' be alright.
And now going back to our list. Number 9, Ghostlights by Avantasia.
Let the storm descend upon you, and I will make you mine. Shine your light into the darkness. The only light around us all upon you.
Of all the albums on this list, this one probably grew on me the most. Initially, I was really hard on this symphonic metal epic, the sequel to a pretty damn powerful record in its own right with Mystery of Time. But with the combination of morally ambiguous framing in the writing, killer guitar solos, and some of the best hooks you will hear on a metal record this year, Avantasia delivered an album that fell into near permanent rotation with me. I really like it. A smarter record than most have actually given credit here, Avantasia's Ghostlights is a powerhouse of a symphonic metal project, bringing together so many artists and create something really special, and sets an pretty impressive bar for the band going forward. Fine work, definitely looking forward to more. Number 8, Malibu by Anderson Paak.
Strong drinks. I don't remember the parking lot. I just remember the song we sang. Come on, you. And the song we sang.
You know, it's been an absolute delight for me to watch critics fall over themselves to praise this album, because Anderson Paak set a high bar thanks to his passionate performances on previous albums and especially on Dr. Dre's Compton, but Malibu is a sort of genre-blending powerhouse that firmly cements his place in modern music. With fantastic writing, great instrumental texture, remarkable thematic cohesion, potent guest performances, and one of the most elastic and expressive voices in modern R&B, the only crime here is that he hasn't crossed into the mainstream yet. But really, keeps it up like this, it's only a matter of time. Check this out. Number 7, Varmints by Anna Meredith. So So say hello to the album that's already been ignored by too many people. One of the most perplexing and complex blends of classical and electronic music you will hear this year. And I'll admit part of the reason why this album is landing on this list is because I can rave about the ingeniously layered compositions all damn day, but that's not to deny lyrics that hold their own thematic resonance, and a few of the most powerful crescendos that could even give swans a run for their money. In other words, if you're looking for the sort of challenging yet hugely rewarding electronic music that will push you to your limit, Varmints by Meredith is definitely the album for you, so check it out. Now before we go on, let's call out another 7 songs that deserve some attention that weren't from albums on this list. Starting with, from I Like to Watch You Sleep for You Are So Beautiful Yet So Unaware of It, The Sound by the 1975. From Motherboard, Run Dance Hall by LMNO.
Now that's all that I spit. Who runs a dance hall? We need justice for all. Who runs a dance hall?
From All My Demons Greeting Me as a Friend, Murder Song 54321 by Aurora. From Imperial, Gook by Denzel Curry.
That's the only reason Yams died, nigga. I'm a gook. Hella Aki, that's the truth. But I bet you I could even keep it 10 times better than you. I'm a gook. Jabby told me we gon' blow up like a landmine. I don't fuck with perk. That's the only reason Yams died, nigga. I'm a gook. Hella Aki, that's the truth. But I bet you I could even keep it 10 times better than you.
From Human Performance, the title track from Arcade Quartz. From the Hope 6 Demolition Project, The Wheel by PJ Harvey. And finally, from Coloring Book, Blessings by Chance the Rapper.
Don't be mad.
I'm gone. Praise him till I'm gone. When the praises go up, good God, the blessings come down.
Good God.
When the praises go up, oh, good God, the blessings come down.
And now back to our list. Number 6, the self-titled debut from K-Slang Veirs.
They don't know me at all. Some are born to sweet delight, and some are born to endless night. Born to endless night, but for now all is well.
Our most recent arrival on this list is the sort of team-up that makes too much sense, but the one that you could expect would simply produce middle-of-the-road music, less than the sum of its parts. And yet, Katie Lang, Nico Case, and Laura Veirs managed to create one of the most beautiful collections of alternative country and folk you will hear in 2016, full of smoky melodies, exquisite hooks, and excellently framed, mature, and yet heartfelt songs. I came to this album way too late, so let's make up for some lost time. Probably the easiest listen off of this list, but still worth your time. Definitely check this out. It's been overlooked, but it shouldn't be. Number 5, A Sailor's Guide to Earth by Sturgill Simpson.
Might seem a little bit far-fetched, but I like you. Memories of ink forever stains, still got the salt running through my veins. I got sad stories and Michelle back too.
Okay, yeah, it's not better than meta-modern sounds in country music, but when as a writer, musician, singer, and producer, you're only a shade away from transcending yourself, that's high praise indeed. A Sailor's Guide to Earth might straddle the edges of country, but Sturgill Simpson proved that damn great music can still be wrung from it all with gorgeously opulent instrumentation, powerhouse vocals, smart writing, and the best Nirvana cover you'll hear in a long time. This is the right kind of major label debut, and with this sort of release, we weren't let down in the slightest. Fantastic work, Sturgill. I can't wait to hear more. Number 4, Lemonade by Beyonce.
Freedom, cut me loose, yeah. Freedom, where are you? 'Cause I need freedom too. I break chains all by myself. Won't let my freedom rot in hell. Hey, I'ma keep on running 'cause the winner don't quit on themselves.
This will probably go down as the biggest surprise for me this year, and probably the one that's most been heard by the mainstream. Look, I've never been a Beyonce fan. Up till this album, the only album I really liked from her was 4, and definitely not her self-titled release. But Lemonade stands as her best album by a mile. Crossing genres with impunity, featuring easily her most raw and explosive production and performances, and with the guts to not just tear into her high-profile marriage, but show a reconciliation that implies more complexity than I've ever given Beyonce credit for in the past. This record shows the sort of artistic growth that completely redefines her as an artist for me. Yeah, detractors might shove the extended list of co-writers in my face, but when the music is this good, and when the performances are this strong, and when you realize that that happens when you have as many samples on this album, I stop caring. This record's great. One of the best albums of the year, hands down. And now, before we go on to our top 3, here's the final list of 6 songs that aren't from albums on this list, but definitely deserve all your attention. Starting off with From Paradise, Below by Whitelaw. From Playing with Fire, Way Back Home by Jennifer Nettles.
Cut to the bone, the prodigal daughter on her way back home.
From Egomaniac, I Want It Free by Congos. From Big Day in a Small Town, Since You've Gone to Heaven by Brandy Clark.
Live to see this, the broken pieces of the family you made. Mama's looking so much older, baby brother can't stay sober. I bet you're rolling over in your grave.
From The Human Condition, Hand of God outro by John Bellion.
Angry at all the things I can't change. When you're lost in the universe, don't lose faith. My mother says your whole life's in the hand of God.
And finally, from The Glowing Man, the title track, The Glowing Man by Swans.
Joseph is digging his hands in my chest.
And now down to our top 3. Number 3, Hella Personal Film Festival by Open Mike Eagle and Paul White.
I found what all of my confident voices are. I'm feeling free, 20 pounds on my Oyster card. Gone ahead with my Dwayne Wayne looking ass. I want a stupid mic stand carved from a wooden staff. I'm trying to relive days that I couldn't grab. I looked up what Lena Dunham said and I shouldn't have.
You know, I get the feeling I love this album more than most people do, as it's been criticized for not quite being on the same level of Open Mike Eagle's best. And yeah, if I'm being honest, I'm not quite sure it is better than Dark Comedy, but look, it's still an Open Mike Eagle album that has the straightforward wit, humor, and vulnerability to pair with Paul White's eclectic fusion of samples and ridiculously catchy hooks, combined with the thematic richness that shows a grasp of human emotion that blows me out of the water every single time. This is easily my pick for my favorite hip-hop album of the year thus far. Absolutely incredible, easily underrated, although not quite as much as number 2, Dolls of Highland by Kyle Kraft.
I think I found a piece of what you used to be. Dozing in the back of a funeral car and tangled in the blankets of your memory. So why did I waste you? If I'd have felt that love come to fall.
You know, I've gone on at length about a few of these albums describing themes and narrative and composition, but I don't really think there's a need for that with Kyle Kraft's criminally overlooked debut album. A glam rock record drenched in swampy southern gothic textures, Kyle Kraft doesn't just focus on his own breakup, but how the outcast goth culture has shifted with time, where the theatricality and hooks to bring you into the tent and the pathos to make you stay. Oh, and he's got the sort of huge vocal charisma and stage presence that's impossible to match, and I have not heard better this year. And yet, as awesome as this album is, it's still not quite the top. And as you all should know by now, number 1, Southern Family by Dave Cobb and various artists.
Trying to get it done when every horse needs water and every weed needs sun. Hail to the working man, my friend. He won't clock out till the end when every saint and sinner's race is run.
This is the first album that I've ever given a perfect score, mostly because it's the best country record I've heard in years. It might not have the narrative focus of its spiritual forebear, White Mansions, but Dave Cobb brings in career best performances and writing from nearly the entire group of singer-songwriters he brought on board, matched by gorgeous production and a thematic exploration of family and death that can cut any heartstring. From Jason Isbell to Zach Brown, from Brandy Clark to Miranda Lambert, John Paul White of the Civil Wars to Jamie Johnson, if there is any justice in this universe, this album will be hailed as a modern classic. And thus far, it is my album of the year. Let's only pray that the rest of 2016 can rally to match it. And given that we got upcoming releases this year, which include Nick Cave, Epica, Beck, and maybe even Run the Jewels, that might just happen. But until then, what were your picks for the best albums of the year? I'd like to know. But beyond that, I'm Mark, you're watching Spectrum Pulse, and I'll see you next time.